What's up, guys? I'm Brandon H. Lee. I play Kwon in Cobra Kai Season 6. Tune in with our new episode on MovieJunk podcast with Zaya.
Hi, Brandon. Welcome to Movie Junk. How are you?
What's up, man? Thanks so much for having me on. I'm excited.
Thank you for joining as well. Fresh off the release of Cobra Kai Season 6, where you take on the role of Kwon, perhaps the new bad boy of karate. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it seems like that's the case, right? Kwon's the new toy of the season, is what I
Now,
keep hearing. Yeah.
now this might be a dumb question, but were you already a fan of the Cobra Kai series before joining?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a dumb question, but yes, I was 1000 like a really big fan. Watched the Karate Kid movies growing up, was super inspired by that. And yeah, I've been watching Cobra Kai since like season 1 or 2, so it's surreal to be here and yeah, it's still it's like now it's finally kind of hitting me that I'm like, oh, okay, I'm in the show. Cause like I don't know, it just seems too good to be true because I've just been such a big fan for so long. So yeah.
And also too, if I'm not mistaken, you'd auditioned before, right? This isn't the first time that you'd attempted to, or auditioned for the show, right? You auditioned in the earlier seasons too.
Yeah, I auditioned one time. I don't know what role. I think it was like season 1 or 2. Yeah, it was like one of my very first auditions when I got into acting, and I'm pretty sure it was like the worst audition I've ever done. So I'm glad I didn't book it. Even if I wanted to book it at the time, I don't think it was possible because it was just a terrible tape. But yeah, it's crazy for it to kind of come full circle now. Yeah.
Definitely right. Because I mean, I'm sure you remember the show when it initially aired, right? It was on YouTube Red. It
Hmm.
was kind of like the best kept secret, right? Everyone, whoever watched it, loved it and was like, couldn't wait to get more. And then I
Yeah.
believe it wasn't until season two had already been shot, and then it came out and was released on Netflix, and then it just blew up into
Yeah.
this great big show. And I think from beginning to now, I think this was like a 9 year journey, I believe.
Yeah, something like that it seems like. I mean, including like pre-production and all that stuff. It's been it's so cool to see like how much especially with, like Sholo and Jacob and all of them like grew up and how different they look now. It's like insane. And then like I think it's hilarious that Dallas like, you know, just from season 5 to 6 just looks like a completely different person. Like he was just a little kid and then now he's like a full dude, like man now.
Yeah, like I'd be nervous to step up to him now, man, with all the talent that he has. I was like, man,
Yeah.
he's awesome.
Yeah,
Um,
seriously.
so I guess I mean, obviously joining while the show's, at its peak and is already established, I imagine
Hmm.
there's way more pressure joining now than what it would have been in season one for you, correct?
For sure. And like on top of that, this is like my first professional acting role. I had done most of my professional work in the past has been in stunts. And I mean, I've been acting for about 6 years now, but like all my acting roles were like short films. So yeah, for a show that's always #1 on Netflix and already has an established legacy of a 40-year legacy now. Um, it's just like it was definitely nerve-wracking. And then on top of that, finding out that the very first episode I was in was directed by Ralph Macchio was
Wow.
even more nerve-wracking. But you know, if it wasn't for Ralph and Marty and the creators and just all of the amazing cast and crew, I think I wouldn't have been able to give the performance that I did. They made me feel, even though I've looked up to them and I was like fanboy, I still fanboy so hard whenever I see them. Like I can't believe that I can call them friends now, but like you know, they're so humble and so warm that they make you feel comfortable and they don't make you feel like there's all this pressure. So yeah, it's really all thanks to them, really, the cast and crew and the stunt team and everyone. Yeah.
No, I mean that's amazing, right? First episode being directed by Ralph Macchio, and also Tim. And look at it from the other side. You're now being mentored by Kreese, right? I mean,
Hmm.
when you're watching the Karate Kid, yeah, series as a fan, would you ever think that, again, like you would be now in the Cobra Kai being mentored by the man himself?
Dude, never in a million years. Like that's what was. I mean, that's what was like, it was like hitting me in waves because they're so warm. Like I didn't they are so humble and they're so like locked in that when we were in the flow of things, it didn't feel like they were the legends that they were. Like it just felt like another day on set, you know? And
Yeah.
then it would hit me in waves where I'm just like catch myself staring at them like, oh my God, that's Ralph Macchio. Oh my God, that's Martin Cove. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I remember one time we did it's the confrontation where Kreese Kwon kind of speaks out of line and Kreese confronts him and we're like, face to face, like Cobra to Cobra, sniffing each other out. And I remember there's a line that Alicia Hannah Kim, shout out Alicia, she's awesome, has, but like since she was off camera, Ralph actually said the line for her off camera. And I was just standing there like, I am acting with Ralph Macchio and Martin Cove right now. This is absolutely insane. Like I would have never thought in a million years that these people that have inspired me to do martial arts my whole life, I would be working with them face to face, So
That's
it's still surreal, yeah.
And let's not, sell yourself short as well too. I mean, your talents, I mean, obviously the years of martial arts experience that you have, I mean, you could see it on the screen, right? And part of me too, and the whole time I was watching the show, and I'm like in my mind, I'm like, and this is just credit to the writers, like how are they going to write this? But how are they going to stack up against your character, right? I mean, and again, I'm just excited to see like what exactly happens because you could see the level of talent that your character has compared to some of the folks, and that's why I'm just excited to see sort of, and again, that's just same way how Karate Kid 1 was, right? Daniel was
hmm
definitely the lesser of the talent, but it was the
hmm
heart, it was the Miyagi trainings, obviously, that got
Yeah.
him to win, right? So I'm just excited to
Yeah.
see sort of where that stacks up.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, yeah, thank you for your kind words, and I'm super excited as well. It's just as much as the fans are dying to see part two. Same here for me. I mean, I can't really speak much on that, but all I'll say is like fans should be very excited because there's gonna be a lot happening, and I think they're really smart to split this up because now us as fans can just like think of all the scenarios of what's going to happen at the Sekai Tekai. It just builds all that tension. So it's going to make the payoff even more worth it when we finally get to see it in November.
Definitely, and also too, with your experience, since you were a kid, in martial arts, were you given any additional artistic liberties? Did any of the producers or showrunners come up to you and say, "Hey, like, any suggestions?" Or were you able to bring any of that while you were shooting?
For sure. That's what was so amazing on this show was like, I'm the new kid. I haven't, like I said, this is like my first acting role. So I didn't want to overstep my boundaries, but the creators, John, Josh, and Hayden came up to me from day one and were like, they were very clear that they want this to be very collaborative. They want me to feel free. They were like, anytime you feel something wrong with the script, feel free. And it was just like, that just gave me so much freedom and allowed me to have so much more fun. And credit to the stunt team as well. Ken Bearfield and Don Lee and Tony Chung and my amazing stunt double Dante Ha. They all said from day one, we want you to go absolutely nuts. Do whatever you've ever wanted to do on any show. Now's the
Wow.
time. So it's like, it's amazing. I think the only time they told me no was when we shot episode 3. They wanted me to save it for the Sekai Tekai. So that's a little teaser for to make people excited for part 2 even more. But no, man, they literally they were so open-minded. The stunt team especially knew that I'd come from stunts and they knew that I've been in their shoes before as well, being on a stunt team and training actors and designing fights. So they were super open-minded to whatever choreography notes I had or any things I wanted to change. And but honestly, it was like I didn't have to change much because like
Good.
they're just so amazing at what they do. They help me discover the character because the choreography that they designed was just like telling me and who Kwon was. So it really is like from cast and crew down, everyone, it's such a collaborative thing. And I don't think, people ask me how did I discover this, or like what did I want to do with Kwon? Like I had some ideas, but really most of it came from collaborating with all the different departments, especially the hair told me so much. Kevin, our amazing hair stylist, like the moment he did that, I was like, oh, I know who this guy is. So it's like yeah, it's just credit to everyone there, yeah.
Definitely, definitely. And also too, if I'm not mistaken, your dad is also a grand master himself, right?
Yes, yeah. He was a Taekwondo fighter in the 80s. He won three Korea national tournaments, and yeah, he moved to the United States in the early 90s, and to Minnesota specifically. And I was born there, and he opened up his own Taekwondo school and still has it to this day. Over 30 years now, he's had it. So yeah, I kind of grew up doing it my whole life. I don't remember what life was like without martial arts. So yeah, I mean, it's surreal. That's why it means all that more to me, because I'm a lifelong martial artist. To be on a show like this, a show that's inspired me for so long. It's surreal.
And also too, I mean, we can't, escape the fact that you have a very legendary name as well too. And Brandon Lee, right? Who's obviously the late Brandon Lee, the son of
hmm
Bruce Lee. Was there
hmm
any added pressure carrying that torch, or are you creating your own legacy?
I mean, that I mean, shout out to him, first of all. Like, he is also someone who's always inspired me, and it's like it's interesting because I always like heard that growing up, but I actually haven't watched his movies until pretty recently. And early in my career, I knew because, you know, I have that name, that there is something with that. And selfishly in the beginning, I wanted to put the H there just to set myself
Yeah,
apart. But, after doing my homework and seeing the talent that he had, man, he was really gonna be that next guy. I think he could have even surpassed his father, and
yeah,
it's just such a tragedy. But honestly, out of respects to him, I'm just like, I don't want to touch
yeah,
Brandon Lee. He is the Brandon Lee, I'll put an H there, but that's him. So
yeah.
yeah, it's I mean, definitely there is probably a little bit of that pressure. Some people are like, "Are you related to them somehow?" And it's
No,
like, um, but yeah, I think naturally there is a little bit of it. I try not to think about it too much.
yeah.
Try to just do my own thing and just learn from what they did, and it makes me extra grateful that I get to do what I do now. You never know when it's your last day on earth, so yeah.
Definitely. And I know you mentioned that, you were obviously a fan of the legacy Karate Kid films, obviously before the show.
hmm
What's your favorite Karate Kid film out of the four original?
Oh man,
Kind of wearing your
I
fan
think
your fan
I
hat down.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think I have to say the OG, man, with the crane kick and everything, having Jenny Lawrence. It's like that started it all, and like the rawness of the underdog story, and that you root for Daniel LaRusso so much. It was something that we've never ever seen before. It's just groundbreaking, it was one of the biggest moments and movies of pop culture, and
Yeah,
I don't think martial arts would be nearly, not even close to how popular it is today in America if it wasn't for the Karate Kids. So yeah, I'd have to say the OG first one. I haven't watched them since I was a kid, so I gotta rewatch them, because I think rewatching them when you're older definitely hits different. And
yeah,
because I met most of those actors now, it's gonna be like, what?
yeah.
It's crazy, it's gonna be crazy to watch it. So yeah, I definitely gotta rewatch it.
Because they're going to be probably, your age, now from what they were then, right? So you're seeing them sort of, as young adults. And yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, Karate Kid, I mean, obviously the underdog story was directed by John G. Avildsen, the same guy that directed Rocky. And I know
hmm
for me, my three favorite underdog films are Rocky, Karate Kid, and Rudy. Those were the three,
Yeah.
like the 70s and 80s, that I really, really kind of put in that bucket. Even Vision Quest 2 goes in there, the wrestling movie.
hmm
But yeah, I mean, one and two, a lot of the cast that we've interviewed, usually one and two are the ones kind of that we hear.
Yeah,
Same,
yeah,
same here. I struggle between the both because I really, really love part two because like the odds were a lot, the stakes were a lot higher. It was like life and death.
yeah,
You're seeing the characters sort of mature. We're learning more about Miyagi, kind of how we're learning more about Miyagi's, backstory
yeah,
this season.
yeah,
That I'm really excited, to kind of learn more about like what was Miyagi doing
yeah,
when he was younger? Was he the perfect guy that we all
yeah.
to be?
That's what's really cool that's what I think is so amazing about Cobra Kai. Like it's really it's really difficult to take something that's this big of a like, has this much of a legacy and try to, do a sequel. We've seen that fail a million times already, right? Like so I mean, I think it starts with John, Josh, and Hayden, the fact that they are fans of the show, and then for Ralph and Billy and Marty and Yuji and all the OGs to be open-minded that they're gonna take it a different route, it has the perfect amount of nostalgia and paying homage to the original films, but also putting their own spin on it, making it a little bit more comedic. And I think I love that they also explore it's not so like black and white in the show, like just like what you said, now we're exploring Miyagi's past and realizing that he's a human being too. I think there's a lot that comes with that everyone's a human, that not everyone is perfect. So I think it's really there's a lot more complex themes that they're
Yeah.
exploring in the show that I think are really meaningful and really impactful. And I think that's why we're 6 seasons in now, They could have
Yeah.
probably done more if they wanted to, but
Yeah.
they're doing 6 seasons. It's not many people can say they've done that. So
No, absolutely too. And also just the story of Tori, right? I mean, to be honest,
oh
like I
my
felt
gosh.
really bad for her character
Yeah.
because you see obviously in the earlier seasons where a lot of her inner rage, where it comes from and how hard she works to take care of her
Mhm.
mom, obviously puts her mom ahead of herself. And then to see that scene, it was very realistic and
Yeah.
very sad. And I don't know, man, like I try to like when I was the end of the last episode where we see obviously the Cobra Kai coming up and then Tori sneaking up right
Yeah.
as the fourth. I was like, man, every nostalgia type of feeling that you had in the book, I had. I was like, this is amazing. I was like, I can't wait
Yeah.
till November to see this because
Yeah.
he's about to unleash on everybody right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And the score on all
Yeah.
that is, oh my, just gives me chills, dude. Like I keep listening to the score of that, the Let the Games Begin, like
Yes.
while I'm at the gym. It just gets me pumped up. Like Zach and Leo are so good at what they do. But yeah, man, I think yeah, with Tori's arc and Peyton, oh my goodness, man, she's already amazing in the show, but she took it to a whole new level with her performance in episode 3 and 5, just all around. But especially 5 with that whole, her switching to the dark side, our side,
Yeah.
Um, yeah, absolutely amazing,
Yeah, I mean, there was you're getting sense of Star Wars, you're getting Mortal Kombat feels, all in
Hmm.
this episode. Also, too, I'm a big fan of the Dexter series and C.S.
Oh
Lee
yeah.
joining the cast
Uh-huh.
as well too. I'm trying to remember. Did you get a chance to connect with him offset at all, or were those different days? Because he's obviously so much different than the character that he was playing on Cobra Kai. But I'd love to see kind of what he was like offset if you had a chance to meet him.
Not much, man. I mean, I got to meet him briefly, and
Yeah.
he's a super super nice guy. He's killing it in the show so far.
Yeah.
And but like I remember, I think he was really sick when we were shooting too.
Mm.
Um, so like I didn't want to. We had really early mornings when we would see each other too, like because we were staying at the same hotel and we would take the same shuttle to set.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just didn't want to bother him because he was sick, but you don't see it from his performance. He was absolutely
No.
amazing. So yeah, no, shout out to CS Lee. He's awesome. But no, I wish I got to interact with him a bit more. I mean, there's so many amazing actors on the show that I wish I got to interact with more, but it's hard for us to all cross paths because there's so many of us,
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and there's very few moments throughout the films and the series where you see the Kreese character, feel vulnerable, or
Yeah.
even scared might be the word. And when he saw his old master,
Yeah.
I even got chills. I was like, man, like where are they going to take this story? And there's some rumors going around that it's possible that, him and Miyagi might have even faced in the second
Mm.
guy. Even though I'm assuming he's probably got maybe 10 years on Miyagi. I'm not sure how they age. He's got to be at least 100 years.
That dude is, I don't, yeah,
Right.
he's up there, man. He might have the world record.
Yes. So yeah, excited to see from there. And I know you can't say much, but
hmm
what can you tease for part two?
I think I touched on it a little bit earlier, they've set up part two so well now where we're all like, really wanting to see what's gonna happen between this new Korean Cobra Kai team plus Tori versus, Miyagi-Do. And I mean, all I'll say is that you're gonna see some stuff that you've never ever ever seen on this show before. Um, there's gonna be some crazy fight scenes. Um, yeah, man, there's not much I can say, but
Definitely.
I guess like there's a lot of anticipation that we know who all these characters are now.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it fun about this show is you can make a bunch of these theories of like it's kind
Yeah.
of like a mix and match, you're playing with toys. What if this character goes against this character? What if this character goes against this character? And I think we explore that very well
Yeah.
in part two and three. So yeah.
And that's what I feel the writers they're very in tune with the fan theories and
Yeah.
I think we've gotten almost all the fan theories that were created from season one to now. I know one of the dream matches that I want to see was John Lawrence versus Mike Barnes, and we finally got that.
Yeah. Yeah.
This which was great,
hmm
right?
Yeah.
Shout out to Sean Kanan, who we've interviewed. I
hmm
think he has the record. He might have been on the show 6 times. So we had him on early on as
Oh,
well.
really?
I'm just excited to see how great a shape he got into for this season.
hmm
He talks a lot about in his book and some of his motivations, but excited
hmm
to see him as well. But yeah, really excited to see what's in store for part two, and also too. I know from listening to some of your other interviews as well. Jackie
hmm
Chan, if I'm not mistaken, was also someone that was an early motivation for you, and he's
hmm
now joining the new Karate Kid film as well too.
hmm hmm
And so, to the best of your knowledge, do you know if these are in similar timelines with Cobra Kai, or is it a standalone film, or are you able to share anything on that front?
Um, I don't know anything from what I've heard from interviews from the big three. They say that it's a completely different universe, I believe. But
Gotcha.
I wish that would be freaking sick. I mean,
Yeah,
never say never. But
yeah.
yeah, no, Jackie Chan definitely huge, huge, huge inspiration of mine, and I really hope I get to work with him one day. Fun fact, I actually have the same birthday as him.
Oh wow.
So yeah, yeah,
That's amazing. It's
yeah,
it's
man.
got to be meant to be one day. If not, unless there's a secret scene shot in the Karate Kid film that we don't know, I think seeing you in that film would be awesome. Are there any other actors or actresses that you're still hoping to work with that you haven't worked with yet?
Just in general, or do you mean in this
In in
universe,
in,
this
in general,
franchise?
yeah. Could be Cobra Kai, could be outside of this universe as well.
Oh man, so many, dude. I mean, Jackie Chan's definitely at the top of that list. I mean, I loved Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah.
The directors, the Daniels are absolutely amazing. I'm such a big fan of them, and Michelle Yeoh. I actually missed her on two different projects. Um, because she was on Shang-Chi, but the
Yeah.
day I left Australia, she came to Australia, so I didn't get to meet her then. And then also I had a small stunt role. I was a stunt performer on the Brother's Son on Netflix. And that's also she stars in that show, and I didn't get to meet her then. So I'm like, dang, I want to meet her so bad. I keep hearing so many good things about her from my friends that got to work with her, but I haven't been able to yet. Um, Dang, man, the list goes on and on and on. Andrew Garfield, I know watches the show. Would love to work
Yeah.
with him.
Yeah, that'd be
Um,
awesome.
Dang, man, it's like there's I could go on forever, but yeah, there's definitely a lot of people that I would love to work with. Yeah.
Well, hopefully they all watch the podcast, right? So from, your
Hmm.
voice to their ears, we'll get you in some future projects with
That'd be awesome, man. That'd be awesome.
when you're not working, and again, you can't
Hmm.
say Cobra Kai, what are some of the
Hmm.
shows that you're binge watching?
Ooh, I just got super into Barry. That
Hmm.
show is so good, man. Oh my goodness. Absolutely love that show. Bill Hader is so good, and to know that he like co-created it as well, and he's directing a ton of the episodes, it's like absolutely mind-boggling to
This is
me.
the
And
last season, I think, right? I think it's the
I'm
last season.
I'm not sure. I've like just got into it, so like I'm on
Gotcha.
season like 3 right now.
Yeah. So you still got a
So
long journey to go. Yeah.
yeah, how many seasons are there?
I want to say seven. It's been on for a
Oh
while.
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
I got
sure.
into this way too late because people kept saying like how amazing of a show it was, and
Yeah.
finally watched that. I also binge watched Euphoria
Yeah. Euphoria is
a
good.
month ago or two. That was really, really good. Trying to think. I've been watching a lot of movies lately. I just watched the new Deadpool movie, which was a ton of fun.
How was that? I'm
Um
actually supposed to watch it t tonight, actually. How was it?
I thought it was amazing. I had a blast watching it. Yeah, that's all I'll say. I don't want to anyone in case anyone hears hasn't watched it yet, but I thought it was amazing. I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of spoilers on the cameos. I hear there's a lot of cameos that were put in, but they were
Oh,
strategically.
really?
And so there's already two that I would have definitely loved more if I had seen it in the moment. But I'm also excited
Yeah.
to see it also too.
I think either way it's gonna hit hard for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I never thought we'd see Hugh Jackman back in this role since his performance as
Hmm.
Logan. I mean, Logan was just perfect. It was a perfect.
Hmm.
So I'm excited to see one, which version of Logan that we're getting,
Hmm.
how he's back at all, right? And then just seeing all these, where the storyline takes place because every Deadpool movie is just hilarious, action packed.
Yeah.
They really stick to that R rating as strong as possible. So I'm excited to
Yeah.
see what they do.
Yeah, no, they definitely stick to it. All I say is that they definitely stick to that R-rated thing. And it's hilarious, man. They're really creative with the choreography as well, using the R-rated, stuff. It's like the stuff that you would love to see in other Marvel movies of like R-rated stuff where you don't get to see. They let it all out in Deadpool, I feel like.
Definitely, definitely. So we're excited for part two and hopefully part three of Cobra Kai. Are you able to share any of your other projects that are on the horizon?
Um, I don't know as of right now, but all I'll say is I also have a YouTube channel, Brandon H. Lee, and I post a lot of my own comedy sketches on there as well. So that's what I was always doing before I booked this role was like that was my practice. So
Yeah,
wanting to continue to do that. If anyone wants to see more content that I'm in, feel free to check that out. It's very, very different from Kwon and Cobra Kai. I think I play a very different range of characters in that. So
yeah.
yeah, it's funny actually because ever since the shows come out and the Cobra Kai fans are amazing. They were like, we'll watch some of those things and they're like, Quan is not locked in, guys. What the heck? This isn't Quan because it's so different. I think that's pretty funny, but yeah.
Definitely, definitely. No, we're excited. We'll definitely share the link to your YouTube channel. I actually haven't had a chance, and I can concur. He's got some really really awesome stuff on his channel. So we'll
Thank you.
be sure to share that as well. I always like to leave and save some room for round two. So definitely once part two comes out, we'd love to obviously have you back on the channel. And again, just wanted to reiterate again, awesome, awesome job this
Thank you.
season.
Thank
Again,
you.
I'm nervous for the Miyagi Do. We were watching the 4 or 5 episodes with a few of my buddies, and we're like, how are these guys going to stack against Kwon? So we're just hoping that you don't hurt them too bad. And obviously, just seeing what the writers do to
Yeah.
show the heart that's sort of in the theme since the first Karate Kid, because sometimes it's all you need is a little bit of heart. So excited to see that part of the story.
Yeah. But I mean, also, Kreese taught us how do you beat someone with heart? That's the whole lesson in episode 3.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I guess we'll just have to find out. No promises that nobody gets hurt.
Definitely, definitely. Brandon, just want to thank you again for joining our show today. Really excited to share with the fans. Awesome, awesome job. Can't wait to see your future projects. And again,
Thank you.
really enjoyed our session today.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I had a blast and it was awesome talking to you and nerding out with you about this amazing show that we love. Yeah, thanks so much for having me.